Good evening. My name is Jonathan Kamen with the law firm of Goldberg, Kamen & Garvin, 1806 Brick Building, Pittsburgh, PA 15219. And I am pleased to be the Township Solicitor and to represent the good people of South Fayette. The issues before you tonight, we believe, are very simple and not right for us to discuss. As Mr. Ayub has said, we have a number of preliminary motions that we believe that this entire proceeding is inappropriate. And we decline to make any further opening statement at this point, but we'll go ahead and waive that so that we can deal with our preliminary motions with the zoning board. We do reserve it, our opening statement, for our case in chief, when and if it gets presented. Thank you.
I haven't seen any of the motions. I'm not familiar with them, so has Range seen them yet?
We have not seen any motions, no.
Okay, let's take a look at them at this point in time. Mr. Kamen, you handed to us a document that we're now seeing for the first time called a motion requesting recusal of zoning hearing board members due to a conflict of interest, prejudgment, and bias, and/or alternatively requesting certification of issues for determination by the Court of Common Pleas. It looks like a fairly voluminous document. Can you provide a brief explanation and overview of the position you're asserting?
Thank you, Mr. Solicitor. The position that we are asserting is that we believe that the 3 of the 4 members of the zoning hearing board, being 2 members and 1 alternate, have a conflict of interest that would prevent them from hearing this case. The conflict of interest we have identified is on 2 separate grounds. The first ground is that 2 of the members have previously expressed opinions on this ordinance. They have expressed them publicly, and we believe is a prejudgment of the ordinance that is before them this evening for a validity challenge. The second alternative prong, which goes together with the first prong, is that 3 of the members do have a pecuniary interest in the outcome of this litigation. And as a result of that, under the Public Official Act and Employees Ethics Act, as codified at 65 PA CSA 1101.1 at sequence, we believe that it is appropriate at this point for there to be recusal of 3 of those members. To the extent that the board does not feel that it is able to make that decision at this time, we would request, well, first of all, let me say, we would request a decision on that issue immediately. To the extent that the board is not able to render a request on that issue at this time, we would respectfully request a continuance of this matter until such time as the board can issue an opinion on the recusal. The reason why is because we think that this is a fundamental threshold issue that must be resolved prior to any sort of hearing on the preliminary motions that we have, and we have many, and the merits that will be raised by Range this evening. From the standpoint of what we believe is necessary to have a fair and impartial tribunal, we believe that this issue has to be dealt with as a threshold issue. So the second part of our motion, to the extent that the board does not seek to recuse itself this evening, we would ask that an appropriate continuance be given for the board to render a decision. And if that decision is for the board not to recuse itself, we believe that it is so significant that we are asking for the issue to be certified to the Court of Common Pleas of Allegheny County for a ruling by them on this matter. We think that that is both in the interest of judicial economy, as we have significant and voluminous testimony to present on our side, as I know Range does on theirs. And we also think that it is the only way to have a fair and impartial hearing this evening and on this issue in the Township of South Fayette.
Mr. Kamen, I'm going to ask that you present all of your preliminary matters or motions so that we have them all before the zoning hearing board and we know what they are.
What I would respectfully ask, Mr. Adu, because of the fact that, again, we believe this to be a threshold issue, that we first receive a ruling on the conflict issue. Because from the standpoint of where we are in preliminary motions, each of them will require some sort of ruling or some sort of action, and we believe that from a legal competency standpoint that we need a competent board to be able to deal with.
I'm going to ask that you respectfully present all of your preliminary motions, and I'm going to tell you that at this time the decision regarding your motion won't be made. We'd like to hear all of the preliminary matters first, please.
Respectfully, if I could ask when the board anticipates making that decision.
I haven't yet discussed with the board when they intend to make that decision, but I think we should have all of the preliminary matters before the board. Before we get into the substance of the validity challenge, the board will then have an opportunity to look at all of the preliminary matters.
The board, give me 1 minute. I want to grab the rest of my folders.